Most men are terrified of silence, not because silence is empty, but because it isn't. Silence reveals everything they are trying to hide. It exposes doubt, it exposes insecurity, it exposes the uncomfortable truth that without noise, without validation, without constant expression, they don't know who they are. And that realization is too heavy to sit with. So they escape it. They talk, they explain, they justify. Not out of clarity, but out of fear. Because speaking feels like control, and silence feels like exposure. But here is the truth that separates weak men from dangerous ones. The moment you begin to defend your worth, you have already lost it. Because the one who explains is always beneath the one who judges. Every explanation is an attempt to influence perception. Every justification is an attempt to gain approval. And the more you try, the more you reveal that you need it. The world reads this instantly, not consciously, but instinctively. And once they sense that need, you lose leverage. Because power does not belong to the man who speaks the most, it belongs to the man who needs the least. The man who speaks too much is not powerful. He is visible, predictable, readable, and anything that can be read can be anticipated. Anything that can be anticipated can be controlled. But the man who does not speak, he interrupts that pattern. He offers no signal, no reaction, no explanation, no emotional access. He becomes unreadable. And unreadability creates psychological tension. People begin to wonder, what is he thinking? Does he agree? Does he care? And in that uncertainty, they project their own fears. That is where your power begins. Most conversations are not conversations. They are negotiations for validation. Every sentence carries a hidden request. Do you understand me? Do you agree with me? Do you see me as right? This is the invisible layer beneath social interaction. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Men are constantly positioning themselves, trying to secure approval, trying to align themselves with acceptance, trying to avoid rejection. But the dangerous man steps out of this system entirely. He does not seek agreement. He does not chase understanding. He does not need validation. Because he has already validated himself internally. And that changes everything. When a man explains himself excessively, he is not communicating. He is negotiating. He is adjusting his reality until it becomes acceptable to someone else. And in doing so, he lowers himself. Because the one who seeks approval places himself beneath the one who gives it. This is subtle. But it is powerful, and people feel it, even if they cannot articulate it. They sense the imbalance. They sense the need. And they respond accordingly. Respect decreases. Authority weakens. Presence dissolves, all because of one thing: the inability to sit in silence. Now imagine a high-pressure environment, a boardroom. Your work is questioned. Publicly. All eyes turn to you. This is the moment where most men collapse. They rush to defend themselves. They explain every detail. They justify every decision. They try to repair their image. In real time. But in doing so, they reveal something far more damaging: their need for approval. The dangerous man does something different. He listens. He absorbs the criticism. He nods once, and he says nothing. No defense, no reaction, no emotional display. And in that silence, something shifts. Because the room expected weakness, but encountered control. And control is mistaken for strength. Days later, the perception remains. Not of what was said, but of how he handled it, and perception is what determines power. Now take this into your social life. A group of men talking loudly, competing for attention, interrupting each other, trying to dominate the conversation. And then there is one man, silent, not awkward, not withdrawn, just present. He listens, he observes, he speaks rarely. But when he does, the room adjusts, because his silence has created weight. And weight demands attention. Now take this into a relationship. An argument begins, emotion rises, the other person pushes, seeking a reaction. The weak man reacts immediately. He explains, he defends, he tries to be understood. But the more he explains, the less he is respected, because explanation signals dependence. The dangerous man remains grounded. He listens. He does not rush to respond. He does not chase understanding. He chooses his words carefully. Or not at all. And that restraint creates authority. Silence is not the absence of communication. It is the presence of control. It says, I do not need your approval. I do not need your agreement. I do not need your validation. And this is what destabilizes people. Because most individuals are built on external feedback. When they encounter someone who is not, they feel uncertain. They probe. They test. They push, trying to find a reaction, trying to find an opening. But when they find none, they lose their footing, and you gain yours. Most men believe they are in control, but they are not. They are controlled by their reactions. Insult them. They respond with anger. Praise them. They respond with pride. Ignore them. They respond with insecurity. Their emotional state is dictated by external input. And that means they are not in control. They are being controlled. Now look at the modern world. A message appears, a comment, a subtle insult, and instantly, reaction. Typing, explaining, defending, trying to win, trying to prove something to someone who does not matter. But every response is submission. Because you accepted the frame. You entered their world. And now, you are playing by their rules. The dangerous man refuses to enter. He sees the bait, and he does not take it. Now imagine something different. An insult is directed at you. Publicly. People are watching, waiting for your reaction. You look at them and say nothing. No expression. No response, just stillness. And suddenly, the energy shifts because they expected resistance. But instead, they encountered a void, and humans cannot tolerate a void, so they begin to fill it. They over-explain. They backtrack. They justify themselves. Your silence forces them to confront themselves. And that is power. This is the inner citadel, a fortress. Nothing enters without permission. Every insult waits at the gate, and most are denied entry. Because not everything deserves your attention, not everything deserves your energy, and certainly not everything deserves your response. The space between stimulus and response, that is where power lives. And the wider that space, the more powerful you become. In a world of constant noise, silence is rare. And rarity creates value. If you speak constantly, your words lose meaning. They become background noise. Predictable. Ignored. Because there is nothing rare about them. Nothing valuable. Nothing worth paying attention to. Now observe two men. One speaks constantly, shares every opinion, explains every thought, fills every silence. His words are cheap, because they are everywhere. Now observe the other. He speaks rarely, but when he does, People listen because his words are scarce, measured, intentional. And scarcity creates attention. Attention creates influence, and influence is power. When you stop speaking unnecessarily, you begin to accumulate presence. And presence is something that cannot be faked. It is felt. It is sensed. It is the quiet authority of a man who does not need to prove anything. Your words become tools. Not habits, not reactions, but deliberate instruments, used only when necessary. And when you use them, they land. Here is your final diagnosis. Your need to be heard is your greatest weakness. Every explanation is a leak. Every reaction is surrender. So the next time you feel the urge to explain, to defend, to prove, stop, say nothing. Hold the silence until it becomes strength. Because silence is not weakness. It is power, contained. If this hits you, watch the next video. Your silence is the most dangerous weapon against disrespect. That is the tactical execution of everything you just learned. Watch it now